sending from the house because dark.
Yeah, and there is also a little bit of extreme weather in all of southern and western Norway right now.
There's pretty much been a little bit of extreme weather and a lot of extreme weather all month.
Yeah, but when it comes to downpours, today is pretty wet.
We had to make a little sizzle reel, a 20-second video clip in the pouring rain today. How was that, considering I had the umbrella and you didn't?
Pretty wet.
You made it though, until you had to go out the door. And then you blew away, you said.
Yeah, and what I say about making movies, never work with children or animals. No matter which way you turn a sheep, his ass always points directly at the camera.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, it would be fun to show that one, but I can't right now because it's on a computer. No, but that was a good one. All right. I told him, try to get the sheep facing us, and one sheep didn't want to eat and his munchies, and the other one did, and he was facing the camera all perfectly and nicely, and as soon as we say go, then the one that didn't want to eat comes in, rams the other one out of his way, and promptly shows me his ass.
Yep.
Makes for great TV. Albert is here, hello, and Charlotte is here. For drippy rainy days, oh yeah, if it's rainy and blowy here, it's definitely doing that in Bergen. Torben's here, oh good, because I need to mess with Karl today. We need to test his Viking knowledge. Today's earworm is sponsored by Roxette. I'm spending my time watching the days go by. Bring back the 90s.
It only works on us old people.
Actually, I think that's 80s. Yeah, no, it's true. Most of us are about the same age here, though. Oh, look, I found an annoying thing for you.
Very late 80s.
Yeah, I think it's very late 80s. Oh, no, wasn't it in Pretty Woman? That's something a girl would know. I think I made him hurl.
I don't know
Just
when,
mention Pretty Woman, Julia Roberts.
I don't know when Pretty Woman is from, and that's also the late 80s, I'm saying. 88, 89.
I think it's earlier. I think at least 87, 86 maybe. But I think it's earlier than I think. Somebody's got to Google that. Heidi Lisa is here. Hello. And Susan from Adirondacks. Rune, by the way, Heidi's brother is with his Heidi. The other Heidi. There's too many Heidis in that family in Horton. Or outside of Horton. Jenny Erickson is here. And Greg couldn't make it because weather was bad. So we had to drive back before he got stuck in Gudvangen. You know, it's not the worst place to get stuck. Lyra is here, 36 in Kansas. So she's got nice weather. 36 degrees Fahrenheit. That's still above freezing, so that's good weather. Do you know in Duluth they had school closings all week because it was too cold?
Just for the record, your Fahrenheit scale.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me to use the freezing of water as your zero on the scale.
Yeah.
What the hell is the zero on the Fahrenheit scale?
32.
Yes, but why? What's it tied
crap if I know. Actually, I kind of prefer Celsius once I got used to it.
So it's just a random number. Oh, this is really cold, so let's call this zero.
Well, 36 is probably what, like 5, 7? 5? Yeah, about that. Plus grader.
Yeah, but it's not tied to anything.
No. Maybe it is, I don't know. I gave up a long time ago. But it does make sense to have freezing being the zero mark.
Yeah.
So I do agree with that. But then I have to remember what is, is 40 Celsius hot? Because I'm thinking 40 Fahrenheit, which isn't.
Hot, yeah. 40 Celsius is 40% of the way from water freezes to water boils.
Yeah, no, 40 is flipping hot. But my head kind of says 40 Celsius or 40 Fahrenheit. So when I think of 40 Fahrenheit, I'm like, yeah, we might be able to bring out the shorts in Minnesota now. But the rest of the world wouldn't do it. No, I guess Duluth hit like 45 below this Fahrenheit, which 40 below Fahrenheit is the same as 40 below Celsius, so pretty flipping cold. So I was listening to the Duluth radio stations just for fun. KQDS was one I grew up with, and the morning show there is pretty good. And the weather, I've missed this channel because this is the news the radio stations talk about in Duluth. How cold is it? How much snow did we get? Ice hockey, sled dog races, and ice fishing.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the whole
Also, there are occasionally sales on guns and gun accessories.
for the hunting season.
There was this one footballer that I really, really didn't like, so they're just pissing all over him for most of the Sunday.
That's because it's not hockey. Although there was one in the news regarding, I don't know which sport it was they were playing, but It was two news broadcasters. This is not in Duluth, though. They were mocking them, but it's somewhere in the United States. There were two newscasters, and the microphones went off.
Oh yeah, the ones.
Or they thought the microphones were turned off, and they weren't. So they're sitting there going, "Oh man, that team is really fat girls everywhere. Especially that number one over there. She's really huge. How in the heck?" And they got fired.
Yeah, but those were kids.
Those were kids too. That was horrible.
So even if you think you can make a funny joke about a heavy kid trying to do sports, you should be better than this.
Yeah, no, they got
Not
fired.
your
I'm all for that.
microphone is all for all.
I don't know where that was, but I thought, oh wow, of the stupid things you could do. Duluth is just like Winnipeg, says Arlene. Yep, it's blows like mad up there. Maria made it! Woohoo! And we can talk about popular Danish stitches. It turns out I was correct, or pretty close. I forgot the buttonhole stitch though. But somebody was asking earlier, what are the popular stitches, or what stitches they use in Viking Age? I don't know. Or most popular stitches used, was it most popular stitches used anytime in Norway and in Denmark. And in Norway, I said my guess would be Oslo, and then Malmen, or Finnish 2+2. And then Maria said pretty much the same thing. Oslo, Malmen, York, and buttonhole stitch. She can correct me now. She's on here. Karl being scientific, and Karin is like, 40 is flipping hot. Oh yeah. That could be a little hot. Matthew, I was going to see what it says. I got to put it up a little closer. Hummus. Not hummus, hummus. Matthew Hummus is here. He says 0 is, in Fahrenheit, is when seawater freezes. That could be. I'm from freshwater areas, so I never thought of it that way.
What's the temperature in centigrade at 0 Fahrenheit?
Isn't it like -15? We have to Google.
Sounds very cold for seawater to freeze at that temperature.
Might be minus.
I would think it froze at like a couple of degrees.
0 degrees. 0 Celsius to Fahrenheit.
Yes. Come to YouTube and watch us Google things.
So I know what that is. It's I did the wrong thing. What temp? Yeah. 0 Fahrenheit. Somebody's already written the answer, but no, I have to look it up anyway, I'm sure. -17. I was close.
Yeah.
See, they got there pretty quick, too. At least -10. Yeah, -17. Prude is here. She says, got a lot of snow, and the world looks all fluffy. They got snow in Turkey and Italy, and that didn't seem to harm things at all, did it?
I've been in Italy when they have snow, and it kind of shuts them down.
I've been in Las Vegas when it got snow, and they didn't know what the hell that was. It was melted by 9, though. Let's see. Garcia's nice dork. Oh, yeah. I'm wearing the Viking bling today because I couldn't be asked to put the rest on, but I have to repair my clothes. It's clothes repair season for Vikings. Nell's here. She says, hi, we're expecting a Moloch to hit us sometime during tomorrow night and mostly tomorrow. Is that what's hitting us now, or is that what's coming at us?
I don't know. I don't think this one has a name in Norway.
Do you know on the radio stations too in Duluth, they have a whole segment called How Cold Is It? Sorry. Pruda says freshwater freezes at 32 Fahrenheit, but seawater freezes at about 28.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, that's a long way from -17. Emily Gom, do you think there's a connection between the Nalbinding and the traditional knot imagery like Celtic knots? Maria's online. She could answer that one. I kind of think so, but I don't know. Celtic knots usually have the over-under, just like Vikings and Viking art anatomy. We had a book about that in the shop.
Yes,
I think the rules are to go over-under.
Yes, in the authentic finds, but never deviate from that, or extremely rarely.
But whether it's a time with Nalbinding, I'm not sure.
I think surface level, there isn't. I honestly don't know. Knots kind of have this mystical, special meaning for people. For the Romans, when it comes to religious rituals and that sort of thing, knots are bad. There should not be any knots on your clothes anywhere when you are participating in a religious ritual in the Roman Republic.
Oh, good thing that, well, they had needle binding there too. There's a lot of knots in that.
Yeah, but then you don't use those clothes when you are doing something. Well, if I consider it to be knots, then it's weird, a religious logic. It doesn't necessarily make sense in a practical sense.
I didn't know that. Huh. Learning something new. We did say we were going to test you today. Let's see, I have to go all the way back up because I think I missed in the beginning. Matthew, by the way, is in Egan. Egan is about 3 hours south of Duluth. It's in the Minneapolis area. Oh. How strong? Yeah, strong winds here. How's Norway? We're trying to see if the internet's going to hang on today. You blew off the door. You opened the door and it sucked you out, you said.
Yeah, now the wind is pretty strong in this valley. But this valley does weird things with wind, so it might not be that strong in the rest of Norway.
The wind could go this way, bouncing off the mountains.
Yeah.
I see Greg is liking all the pins I sent him on Pinterest. I had to look real quick for leather stuff. It's Albert's birthday today. Break out the whiskey, Albert. I know you got it. Happy birthday. That makes you 23? I'm guessing. We'll find out. That makes him a lot younger than me. And Carl. Let's see. Who else do we see here? If I missed anything. Yeah, no, 40. That's flipping hot. There's other words that could replace flipping for. Oh, it's 8 in Denmark right now, by the way. I think we're still plus degrees.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, it's howling outside where Yenny is, yeah. Let's see. Oh, it's close to 0 in Pennsylvania where they are, so it's cold there too. They're going to get hit by a storm soon, I saw, as well. Lindsay Langley's here. Theory is that Celtic knots came from Viking decor. I could see that relationship. It's a lot of the art books that we have, they tend to lump Norse and Celtic together.
No, this is the mind-blowing thing with the Vikings idea that the Vikings basically discover England at the beginning of the Viking Age. There has been contact between proto-Vikings and Celts probably since well before the fall of the Roman Empire, because we have boats.
Well, and then Yen points out too that the Celts are about 1,000 years before the Vikings.
Well, the Celtic people are Celtic people, just like the Vikings are Germanic people.
Yeah.
So we just don't call them Vikings until the Raid of Lindisfarne, if you go with that definition.
Yeah.
But there wouldn't be a major change in culture. So stop with all these proto-Germanic things. We have to drop immediately now. We just raided the monastery at Lindisfarne, so this is a very important thing. You have to drop you have to drop a load of the letters in your runic alphabet. That's important. You also immediately have to start raiding things, because we've never done that before. We used to be peaceful farmers with goats, and now we have swords. So now we start raiding people. We also have to consider ourselves to be Vikings now, and yes, all of our boats has to have sails, and I have to have that immediately. There is these two dates, 793 for the start of the Viking Age and 1066 for the end of the Viking Age. It's very important to the English, because it's when we start bothering them in large scale and when we stop bothering them in large scale. But whether or not we bother the English, that's not a major impact on the culture.
No.
But I don't think anybody seriously believes that the Vikings just stumbled upon England. And even though the contemporary sources, like the Anglo-Saxon Chronicles, uses terms like these were the first time the Norsemen came, and this was the first time the Danish tongue was spoken on the British land, that's almost certainly incorrect.
Sorry, Torben's got a good one on here. We're a little bit in and out of the Celtic knot thing. Torben said Thorin started walking last week. Yay! He's got to be close to 1 now. something like that. Anyway, so no, Torben's running around shouting, no, no, don't paint the dog. No, don't put the remote on the, in the loo. When you have twins that hit the walking age, then everything goes from here to here on the shelves. You can't, everything has to go higher up immediately. And then just wait till he starts learning how to climb out of his crib. That's another fun phase. Lyra says she's making some foam pouches for her friends with her itchy yarn. That's a good use for itchy yarn. What's the best way to close them? Drawstrings. I want them to hang on the belts. Okay, this is an interesting thing that you brought up here because this I made more for Karl's dice. I was on Anne's Zoom and they were talking about doing Dalby in the round. And I didn't think about it. Dalby is straighter, so she was having a hard time doing a round start with Dalby because she was starting with maybe 10 stitches or so, like you would normally do with like Oslo or something. But with Dalby, it takes a while to bend or to twist. So yeah, here's like 16 stitches to start. So she points that out anyway. But so then I was gonna make a dice bag because Karl's got so many dice. But I had to do it in Dalby then because I was inspired. And yep, I did need 16 stitches to get that sucker flat. But okay. So this is more of the stash yarn, by the way. I'm never going to be finished. There's still crap loads left. I was thinking about doing a leather because so this doesn't, a leather cord so this doesn't get frayed. But you can see there's my start of my holes and then there's the end. So it does stagger right there, but I like to do that where the knot goes. So the key is you got to kind of think of in your head, it's going to go in here, out there, in, out, whatever, but it has to end with out here, so you kind of have to work out your math there. But you can make a chain 2, not 1. If you have 1, you have this little string that sticks out there, and it tends to mess up the hole. So if you do at least 2 for your hole, as long as your cord can fit through it anyway, chain 2, but don't connect to the 2 below. And then you can attach it to, I think here I did 4. Without making any chain. And I did that way around and it worked out just perfectly that it closes like that. Because of the amount of holes I had, which I can do math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 holes to do that. Shush, I can't think and talk at the same time. It's too hard. But this old one now, this is the one on Instagram. It's starting to look a little sad. It's starting to look a little dangly.
Probably just a hole.
Yeah. Yeah, well, no needle bindings. Whatever you do, if you make a dice bag or a pouch, remember it stretches this way. So to make it kind of dense is pretty good. But this is also cotton, so it kind of stretches even more. It doesn't felt. But this one, if you can see it there, it's really gotten stretched out because this is getting old now. You can see on Instagram how old it is. But there, I think, yeah, there's 2 stitches in between as well. So I skipped 2, but then I did 2 in between. I think this is done and finished 2 plus 2 actually. But and so that one, it does look like a ball sack. Look at Karl over there trying to bite his tongue not to say the Inuit. Maybe this will fit you. You're getting old. Gotta keep them warm. Cotton's not the best way to keep warm though. But anyway, when you scrunch it together, it's more, so it doesn't really do that same fold as it did there. The orange pouch reminds me of a picture I got of Karl. I think I've seen this picture in only live. I can't stop doing this now. Cheers, Karl. So I hope that answers your question about holes, drawstring holes. You don't have to do it this way, but I do it that way, and then do maybe 1 or 2 rows on top so you have some height. Another thing you can do if you're going to make a pouch that goes flat, like that, you could just only make chains here, maybe 10, and so you have 1 hole here, big hole here, and a big hole on the back side, and you can have it like handles like that. But if you're going to do drawstring so it hangs on a belt, yeah. The biggest trick then is to just work out how many holes you need so that it goes in, out, in, out. Dice.
I'm not touching any of these innuendos. I'm a good boy.
This is a young one. This one is an older one. Not made for children. So that's what I have to post a picture next on Instagram when I get around to it. Lindsay says, hi, I'm in the car with my mother right now and the speaker's on. Hi, Mom. There's nothing to see. Not made for kids. I can't help it. Your mom's an adult. I think she can handle it. Well, considering she had you, she's probably familiar with the...
Do you want to go deeper into this?
I can't climb out of the rabbit hole once I'm first in there. Laugh out loud. It's amazing your examples of the bags. I'm wanting them for the exact... I was wanting them for the exact reason, just piles of dice everywhere. It needs homes. Anyway, I have to make another one. These are the old dice that I brought from, I don't know, they must be like 20 years old or something. These actually had in my house, but Karl started buying Vampire the Masquerade, was it? Aliens, Rune Quest.
Well, the Rune Quest uses everything.
And then the Warhammer one.
The Aliens just uses the D10.
So these are mostly vampire dice, but the RuneQuest ones are in here. And we still have 3 more boxes of dice up there, but I didn't want this sad sack to get too heavy, so I have to make another one for the other dice too. I don't know what stitch I'll use. We'll see. That's good. Don't drive off the road. I love the way you think, babe, says Charlotte. And Yen's just laughing. She can't type. I have to go back up and read. I like that your mom's in the car. This is why Karl drinks, right? Yeah. I made that for him before, special. I even put in an extra lime in it. He's got Corona, by the way. That's such a bad pun. Okay. No, actually, we're still pretty Corona-free. What's the Corona looking like in Norway these days, Karl? Nobody knows, actually.
They're running out of tests, so they just say 20-something thousand every day.
But the kids went green are going green on Monday, level green in this traffic light system. But they are sending them home with a 5-pack of tests now, and they still have to test every Monday and Thursday, at least until the 14th. But we don't know what the numbers are. So now they're telling people if you have a positive test, you can just register it. You don't have to go in and get the PCR thing officially. But if you need if sick leave or something for work, then you actually have to have the PCR thing. You can't just say, oh no, I had positive, really, I can't go. But the thing is, then they're relying on people to register if they've got Corona or not. So the numbers, when it says 24,000 yesterday, 21,000 today, it's probably a lot higher. So we shall see. But nope, opening borders and everything here now, so come along. Love that Karl gets all excited about things I do too. Ooh, it's 7:93. We're Vikings now. I know, it's so fun. I can eat popcorn when he does that. Loving this version of Karl. Yep, Karl is the TED Talk mode is awesome. Karl in TED, yes! I love it when you do that. I'm like, here he goes. I'll get popcorn next time. No, I'm not kidding. You should see what his bedtime stories are like. They're like, yay! Maria said, I don't think there's a connection. This is between the Celtic, by the way, and the Nalbinding. The Celtic knots and Nalbinding. I think the connection is fancy stuff with metal thread, and I can't for the love of Thor, I like that she uses that, remember the name for it. Thor was the god with minor anger management issues. Yeah, that's a good one. Yep, Yensi also uses drawstrings, by the way, and says it works well. Although I don't think anyone will ever look at a pouch the same way anymore. The dog needs to sprout some wings. That was up earlier. Let's see. Oh, so we can get away from the thorn. Oh God, Karl is becoming a dice goblin. Oh yeah, he's way, way, way up the dice pouch is always too small. It's true, you need more. One thing you could do to keep it from getting old is you could actually make a cloth pouch inside, and then the needle binding could never stretch further than the pouch, the cloth pouch.
Do you want to go back in your tent?
Yeah, he's got a tent for the cat there. I don't know if you can see that. That's just too cute. Let's see. Oop, wrong way. Does Karl have more dice than Karin has yarn, though? Oh, God, no.
No.
Not even close.
No. To put it like that, if I took all my dice and threw it into all of her yarn, she would be needle binding for weeks before she found one.
This is true. Oh, Maria needs to leave, but it was great to see you guys. It was good to see you too, Maria, and I'm glad you were here just in time for the Celtic knot question, because I actually did not know. Let's see. Lyra says, laugh out loud, I say, for the love of hepatitis. Oh, say that for me, please.
I can't see on this distance.
No. It's, I gotta hold it a little closer because I can't see either. We're all getting old. Hephaestus? And
Festus.
okay, thank you. And what on the planet? To the annoyance of my friends. I like that. Greg says, oh my gods. That one I think is kind of fun. I'm just Minnesotan, so I say, oh geez. And then there's always HE double hockey sticks. No. Because, from Minnesota. No dice. Adorable cat in the tent. Yep. He's kind of cute down there. That's a cat. It looked kind of funny on screen. Any theories why the Vikings never got a strong foothold in the Americas? Here we go, Karl.
But for something like that to work, they would need to get off on the right foot with natives. On a one-to-one basis, Viking at their technology level against the Native American at their technology level, the Viking will win. But it's not a one-to-one basis. It's one to horrendously many, an entire continent of people who are not completely unfamiliar with the concept of war. So the Vikings will, I don't like to quote Ho Chi Minh because he's a dick, but he said during the Vietnam War that you might kill 10 of us for every one we kill of yours, but you are the one who's going to get tired first. The same goes for the Vikings. The Vikings can't afford to lose anybody. And the Native Americans can basically afford to have massive casualties if they're willing to do that. So if they are not friendly with them, then they would need a hell of a lot more people than they had. And it's not that appealing. Yes, it's warm climate and you can build good farms there. But the same is true for France.
France is closer.
Yeah, France is closer, and France is also inhabited by the French. That you can kind of deal with and kind of understand. And you can also buy things on them, things that are interesting and things that are better than the things you can make yourselves. So the answer to it, I would say, boils down to horrendously long supply lines. That's fine if you're not meeting any serious resistance. But the Vikings probably met serious resistance. There is a modern theory about this that I'm kind of partial to. And that is that basically everything boils down to milk.
Oh, yeah.
Because one of the things that is stated that the Vikings brought with them was cows. Which means that they are trading with the Native Americans in the beginning when things are still being peaceful. Probably selling them cheese and maybe other dairy products. The Vikings, or the Vikings' ancestors, because before 793 they are not Vikings, have had cows for thousands of years. The Native Americans doesn't have cows, so there is no reason for them to be lactose tolerant. So imagine foreigners coming to your land, selling you food that tastes good and you eat a lot of it. And then all of a sudden all of your family gets sick and some might even die. Then the idea that the crazy foreigners are trying to poison us might not be that far away from the top of your head. So it is very possible that the reason that a big chunk of Northern America isn't inhabited by Vikings today is that, well, they tried to sell cheese to people who couldn't handle it.
Yeah. That was one of the bigger theories I saw. By the way, that thumbnail I used it looks like a waterfall, but it's actually an avalanche. But it goes today it was going like every 15 minutes. Normally in the wintertime it'll go every hour or so, but in the summer, because it's a waterfall otherwise, in the summertime if there's a slide there, then it just becomes a really muddy waterfall for a while. But this one, it's actually snow falling in there, but due to all the rain knocking all the snow down, I just thought I'd mention that while I was thinking of it. But all of them have been avalanching quite a bit this week. Let's see, am I making a new sack or dice ball? No. Kind of looks like it though. No, these ones I've made before, but I think I made them too small. It doesn't matter. There's always something small enough to fit in these. Yeah, you're really starting to bite your tongue over there. Booties! Baby booties. We need some of these in our shop, and this is something I could do with this leftover yarn. I didn't have too much of the purple. But I'll show you what some finished pairs. I left them over here. These ones. Da, 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 da. So, but, and then you can fold them down if you want. These ones actually have something in there so that they'll stay full and not lose their shape. But that's what these are. Yeah, these ones I think I have on Instagram too somewhere. And it's the same as the slipper tutorial, just made small. But that's what these are supposed to be. But I think, again, I made them a little too small. Thorn will definitely not fit in either pair now, unfortunately, so I have to make some a bit bigger. But the trick is that babies, their legs are pretty chubby, etc., because they haven't been walking very long, obviously, or not at all. So the ankles have to be nice and wide to fit through. So I don't know if that's gonna work. I need a baby to try this with. No. Anyway, but yeah, that's what I'm making this time. And I might make some more of them in a bigger size because I still, I keep using yarn out of that basket. It's not getting any less. It's just more thin yarn. I don't know. I will never do that again. I'm going to be stash busting 2021 until it's time to start 2022 stash busting in October. But that's what I'm working on. I mistakenly chose something I'm still counting for a little bit. So I have to kind of take off the glasses and look at the stitches. Let's see. Funny, I look around here in Minnesota and I see Vikings everywhere. This is true. Ha ha ha. Get it? Minnesota Vikings football team. Mm-hmm. Purple and gold, and they got horns on their helmets. Yeah. Actually, there's a lot of mascots that use that same logo. Maybe different colors, though. Oh, they think they're cute. So there you go. I have to make some for the store. The grin from Karl, laugh out loud. No, I'm pushing 50. I'm not having any more kids. Oh yeah, Yancy said she heard that too as well, that milk was given as gifts and everyone got sick. I think Native Americans still to this day, a lot of them are lactose intolerant. Have a gene or something.
It takes a while. The reason it is more rare in the West is that the people who were lactose intolerant had a much higher chance of dying, like 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, than the people who weren't. And we are kind of beyond the point now where people actually in the Western world die from being lactose intolerant to a noticeable degree. But also when it comes to the milk thing, it is possible, and I would say it's even plausible that this is the reason why the conflict started. But this is the thing, if you have Vikings bordering on anybody, conflict is going to start. It's just a matter of what the spark is. Obviously, if it hadn't been for the milk thing, it is possible, and now I'm way out in alternate history speculation land, that I would have made some kind of alliances with nearby tribes and then just been involved in their wars instead of starting wars on their own. This is something that I like to do. So I was just listening to a program about Russia before it became Russia.
Yeah.
And this has to do with the Kiev and Rus. Basically, they have a revolt and they throw the Vikings out. The Vikings are gone. They are free. They use this freedom to immediately start fighting each other until one of them basically goes, okay, this isn't working, we need to bring the Vikings back. So they go and get a Viking prince called Rurik, and he becomes the new leader of this area because basically they managed to make it so bad that basically people started going, okay, things were actually better during the Viking invasion. So let's invite them back in. The Vikings are good at this mix of peaceful and warlike coexistence, so to speak. I don't know of any people that the Vikings have been consistently 100% peaceful with. The Byzantines get pretty close, but the Vikings immediately tried to take Constantinople as soon as they found out it existed. But after that, it kind of stabilized. Keeping Constantinople, or Miklaga, as the Viking called it, in existence and not ruling it was in many ways better than trying to rule it.
I lost count and I screwed up. Just a sec there. I have to increase on the back though. It's only supposed to fit tight right around the ankle, but the legs don't get skinnier on the way up. So I have to make the legs flare like that.
Yep.
So I realized I forgot to do that, so I had to backtrack. See, it's bigger at the top than it is at the base. So I have to fix that. Okay, I see. Oh, we got lots of questions. Okay, agriculture didn't really reach the northern countries until 4000 BC, though. But since then, yes, definitely, anyone tolerating lactose would be doing better. Oh, there was another thing here. I think I missed it. I have to go back a little bit. It's closer to 1,000 years ago, Karl. I believe it is part of the agricultural revolution. Yeah. Oh, and there is such finished ash and elm, and they really published the polygamy in the Viking, pushed the polygamy in the Viking Age. Oh yeah, we have at least one person in the area that is really fond of that theory, or that bit.
I read the book.
Were normal people monogamous? Was the question.
In the early Viking Age, according to Neil Price, normal people possibly, but on the tops not so much. But one thing that kind of annoyed me, I think Ash and Elm is generally a very good book.
Yeah, I like that one.
But
we have 6 left, I counted. I thought we had 1.
At this point, when it talks about the polygamy in the early Viking Age, he says that what he is saying is controversial. And then he lists a long list of, I would say, fairly good and compelling evidence that it should be basically taken as fact that having multiple wives was pretty common in the early Viking Age. So what I would like him to do, if this is controversial, tell me what your opponents say. The people who don't agree with you, what are their evidence?
Oh yeah.
Because the way he puts it forward, it seems like a no-brainer. It's, well, no, obviously. Why is this controversial? Is it controversial because they have some kind of alternative evidence, or they are interpreting the evidence differently? Or is it controversial because, and this is one thing that drives me up the bloody wall, people have emotional reasons to want to believe different things about the Vikings. So, one thing I see a lot is people want the Vikings to be this standard bearers for equality. Yeah, they're better than the rest of Europe, but they're sure as hell not perfect. And the idea of complete gender equality in the Viking Age and some kind of modern view on things like homosexuality and non-binary lifestyle might be, but it's unlikely. But I have people who takes 2020's ideas and put them back to 1020. And that's almost certainly wrong.
No?
It's very unlikely that people get to the same conclusion by different routes, so to speak.
Let's see. I remember that one was a very interesting chapter, actually. Okay, we've got some more here. Lactose intolerant in the Viking Age, bring out your dead. Oh, yeah. And yeah, milky dead. Let's see. The bathrooms. Oh, yeah, we read that one. And Torben said, how did the Vikings behave towards the locals in areas they went to? Was it eat my axe? Or did they have a more Genghis Khan like you may live your lives, but remember who your boss is?
A little of both, I'm tempted to say. And also remember, it's not one entity that follows a consistent set of rules. You would have individual Vikings that are more heavy-handed than other ones. Obviously, I think everybody who would be called a Viking would be far outside of what we today consider to be the Geneva Convention. They will kill civilians, and they will generally not show mercy to anybody who lifts weapons against them. But sometimes they immediately after battle seem to go into peaceful coexistence mode.
There you go.
There is a reference, I'm not sure where I've read this, or where the original source is, but allegedly it happened in Spain. Some guy goes up to the Vikings and basically haggles with them about how much he has to pay to get his wife and children back after the Vikings have captured them. And the Vikings are playing this game. They're basically going, yeah, no, it's this and that many bales of linen, this and that many cows, and you can have them back. It's fine. This is not, well, it's not super good. It's not what we would consider honorable today. But obviously, they could have just taken his linen and his cows as soon as he came and delivered them, killed him and kept the slaves. So they are to some extent following some rules. These rules are just a little bit alien to us. So in Egil Skallagrimsson's saga, he steals some stuff from a guy and runs away, and then he decides that, no, that's dishonorable. I have to kill him and burn down his house. So he goes back to his house, kills him and burns down his house. It's weird, but it makes sense to him.
So the Danelaws agree, or? Let's see. Bonding, Karen says, do I need, Gudvangen says, do I need bifocals? I have bifocals, actually. I need stronger ones. My glasses are stronger here than they are here. But this is a very dark yarn. And to see the stitches, yeah, right now I have to. If I'm using a lighter yarn, it's not so bad, but right now, no. I do need stronger glasses. I've been putting off getting new ones due to Corona. The idea of going among lots of people, etc. is a little scary, but I need to do it because these glasses are now 2 years old. So I need stronger ones. I do have cheaters, though. Oh, you'll like this. My mom sent them to me. See, oh no, they're in the bag on the floor here, so I step on them. This is gonna really up my age here. No, where did I put it? Yep, here they are. Sorry, found them. They're just hard to see. There, if I can get them on my glasses. There. So I can do this. I have a little more. And then I can flip them up so I can see normal. This thing in a lot of lighting is actually, I call them cheaters. I don't know what they're actually called. But they, I need, so I can do that, but it looks a little dorky sitting with these on YouTube. But these are awesome, so I have to get my mom to bring me some more. But yeah, no, I do need stronger glasses, and I will get my butt to the eye doctor soon. Lindsay just found out she needs trifocals. Maybe that's what I need. I think I should, something anyway. That would that be a trifocal? Okay, so the bottom of my glasses are bifocal. Was this tri? Could it be?
Honestly, don't know.
This is my regular? double tri. I'm calling it that. Now the trifocals, if you see like the old ones, they'll have like another little lens in the middle of the bottom half. Cool things. Let's see. Then I saw, she said also that she can't master Nalbinding, but I have crocheting, fingerless gloves, wrist warmers. Oh, but that works. You can do that. Actually, needle binding constructs a lot like crochet. It just builds differently in height. Or the gauge is a little different anyway. But if you ever do try it with some fat yarn that you don't care about, because then you can just throw it at the wall when it doesn't work. And if it works, hey, you got a thing. But make a chain. Just make a chain and keep making chain. Don't worry about the mistakes. Just keep going. And then it'll start kind of curling at first, but when you stretch the chain, it'll all kind of lock into place. And then it'll look normal. And then when your chain, it'll have mistakes, of course, because it'll be your first one. But when it stops having mistakes, then you're ready to try the next thing, trying to join the circle together, for example, and make a tube. But you can do it. But otherwise, if you're sitting and crocheting while watching this, that's just fine with me too. Or drinking beer in Torben's case, probably. Who would have multiple wives? That means multiple mother-in-laws. I like that one. Your mother is hilarious, by the way. So, what do you think? Any thoughts on that?
Well,
You haven't met my mom yet, but you will.
the thing with Viking king or chieftain is that they are itinerant. They are moving around a lot. So they can probably avoid their mother-in-law when they feel like it. And
Maybe.
also, according to the saga, Harald Finehair had, was it 9 wives? And this is specifically
9?
This is specifically wives, not concubines that they called frillar. But he obviously has some of those too. Up until he married Ragnhild the Mighty of Denmark, because she basically stipulated that if you are married to me, you are only married to me. So he had to basically quickly do 9 divorces before he did 1 marriage.
Oh, there was a question in there. Purdy says, I finally see it. It's because I'm missing some. She's good. Matthew's got a really good question, so I will scroll till I find it. There. Oh, for my UFO stash bust, I am making a hat with wool and some superwash wool. Is there any tips on trying to felt this superwash yarn? It just seems that I can felt where the join ends. Okay, superwash is harder to felt. It's possible, as long as there's at least 30% wool in there. It's possible to felt it, but you got to have a lot of rage. But you can see here, this is a 2-ply. If you can see, there's 2 yarns spinning around each other. So you can split the threads a bit, like that. Actually, I think this might be more than that. So you split the threads like that, and then you can split the other end like that. Maybe you want to overlap it a bit more if it's harder to, not just at the very tip, but if it's, don't go down any window lane here. But if it's, if it's really hard to splice, then you might want a bigger bite, like something like that much, and then you take the 2 ends and put them together like as far as they'll go, and add some spit and really put some rage into it, and it might actually work. But then when you're, if you do get it to stick anyway, and you're gonna pull the yarn through, let's see here, bifocals you say, yes, definitely. Okay, pull it, when you get to the part that's joining, just pull very short and slow until you get through there. And then when you get past that knot, then you can keep going again. If that doesn't work, you can always try a lazy join, which is a little trickier. You would drop the yarn that you're working with and put it kind of behind the work, and then put some new one on the thread and kind of just follow the movements of the last one, and then continue with that yarn through. But again, you can't pull it through. And then you just kind of keep going around, and after you've done a row on top of that, then you can start to weave in this and the tail end of this one and the tail end of the new one. And that takes a little tricky to get used to, but it's there's no knot then. Then there's always like a Russian join where you tie 1 knot this way, 1 knot that way, and pull them together. But I'll know there's a knot there. I can feel it, so I don't like doing that. It's like a Princess and the Pea. If there's a knot in here, that's because the yarn is knotted together, I'll feel it. It'll drive me nuts. But you can learn, there's different ways of doing a lazy join. You can try that. But as long as it's at least 30% wool, it is possible to splice it, even if it is superwash, to spit splice. But you'll want a bigger bite and a lot of rage. Really rub the crap out of that thing. And then pull very slowly. There you go. For Mother Russia! There, I don't know if he's talking about all the innuendos or there's some other ones.
Probably something.
No, they're going off on coffee here. I see coffee and champagne. They're having a lot of fun here. Oh, no, it's because it's Albert is doing the whiskey for his birthday. Albert says, whiskey for me. Charlotte says, coffee. Soon Diet Coke. Jenny says, champagne here tonight. It's her niece's birthday. And Torben says, coffee, cold coffee. There's Garcia's also on coffee. Ah, Max Brandt is here as well. He said, okay, this has nothing to do with coffee and champagne and whiskey. Have you ever tried making items using the Russian stitch in Nalbinding? Yeah, yep, this. This is Dalby. This is a Russian stitch, I believe. Yeah, it is. Russian and Telemark, or Dalby and Telemark are Russian stitches. And I don't know if you can see, it looks like, if I point, there's that spot and that spot that kind of repeats, and it looks like feet or hoof prints going through between the two bigger lines. Anyway, but that's because you're flipping the yarn on the back side. You're kind of going around one and then going forward. It's look at New Lockentot's videos to see how that is, because it's kind of confusing to explain without a big fat yarn to show you. But yeah, I like the Russian stitches. The Russian stitches, you'll notice too, it's very flat. It's not very, it doesn't have as much texture as this one does. So if you're going to ever embroider on top of something, this is a good one to go with. I would anyway, but I love Dalby, and Telemark kind of puts a little ridge on it, but otherwise. But the Russian stitches are really cool. Then there's Dalina, which is not a Russian stitch, but it has a nice weaving texture. I think that one she has listed under other. And then there's different versions of it where you just make them thicker with using more loops. Oh, the name Mango Join. I saw that. The Mango Join is actually almost the exact same thing as Maria's sew splice, where you have to kind of sew through the yarn a little bit with a really thin needle. You'll sew through the yarn and pull it kind of through, and then you'll take the other one and sew through the other. But you can look that up. The guy's on YouTube. He put up a video on there. Cute guy. He's got to be, yeah. He's got old fingers, so I like him.
Who? What?
The cute guy that does the mango stitch video, or the mango join, he calls it. But it's very much the same as the sew splice, as Maria calls it. There's a lot of different names for. Jen says also sometimes she spits splice superwash. Sometimes she almost makes a fire. Yep. Because your hands get up. Just pretend you're in Minnesota and it's minus 45 and you need to get warm. You have a lot of rage. Yeah, so anyway, there was a join posted somewhere. Yeah, they were talking about that one where the weave two yarns together. I like the lazy stitch. I did put a little video. It's in two parts of it on Instagram under the IGTV category on mine. Because I couldn't film for more than 2 minutes at a time for some reason on my phone. Didn't have enough space. I should probably redo it because I've got a new one now. But that one I'll do if I'm using white yarn, even if it is wool. Because no matter how much you wash your hands, if you try to do that with white yarn, it's going to show dirt. I can't get past it. And never, ever, ever, ever attempt to do a spit splice when drinking coffee or eating chocolate. Not good. Pruda says, I think these socks for Greg may be turning out a bit big, but he can always felt them down to size. Oh, somebody had a really good advice for this, and I don't know where I read it. One of the needle binding groups anyway. For some reason, I think it was a Swedish one. If the socks are too big, but they're wool, you can wear them in the shower. And they, and then let them dry on your feet. But if you wear them while you're in the shower anyway, apparently they'll kind of felt down a little bit, but they won't be too big for your feet. So you have to try that one and let me know how that works. Rage and friction, and Albert likes the phrasing. Carl over here starting to sweat. I Oh, so he could always try that anyway. He could wear them in the shower. He might not get him off his feet after that, but hey. So I hope I got the right question in there. Let's see. While I catch up on chat, I'll just, give you an image. Let's see. Have you, I tried making the Russian stitch. I love the Russian stitches. They're pretty. They just take a little bit longer, but they're so pretty. Nell says, I avoid buying new specs just because I didn't want them to twist to wearing mask. No, I just didn't want to be among that many people. Also, I spent a lot of the quarantine in Gudvangen. I'm still in Gudvangen now. And I come out every weekend, but during the quarantine, I was here most of it and all summer. So there's not exactly an optometrist here. So I have to wait until I get back into the populated area to do glasses. Do we know how they used fishing hooks? Did they use poles or did they just use a line with many hooks? I've seen both of those. What do you think, Karl?
They might have used poles. Fishing hooks, there are finds of them. And you also have the kind of famous story from mythology when Thor is trying to fish Jormungandr and using an anchor instead of a hook and a
I think I got through.
bull's head as bait. A pole isn't specifically mentioned in that story, so probably mostly they fished like well, I'm not sure if the correct name for it, but when you're fishing without a pole, back home we call it å fiske med harpe, fishing with a harp. So you have this thing that you have your line wrapped up on, and then you just give out line until you're on the bottom, you take in a little bit of line, and then you just go like this.
You tried that last year. How'd that work for you?
It didn't work for me.
No.
But then again, the guy with the poles didn't do much better.
No, you didn't even catch a starfish this time either.
No, the only one who got a fish on that trip was your kid.
Cecilia did. She named him Jeffrey.
That fish was...
Gerald. It was Gerald, yeah. And then a seagull came in. Well, we had to take pictures with it. But apparently that left him a...
Gerald, the fish, didn't have a very good day, and we are not entirely sure if he survived. I would say it's unlikely. There was both a seagull and a seal in the immediate area, and Gerald had serious problem getting his swimming bladder back to
He was kind
operation.
of circling the ocean. Circling the ocean. Yep. Oh, I gotta show. We got a couple more minutes left, so I forgot to show. So this was the hat that was finished, by the way. This I finally put up on Instagram last night. I delayed the post for a reason because there was another more important post coming out, but I'll tell that in a minute. So that was done, but I finished mittens, and now I have this little 5-gram ball left of this yarn. I have to in my stash busting basket, so it's gonna have to probably go in a pouch or something. But so here's the trick: if you look really, really close in one of the pictures, there's something different about the thumbs. I was having a bitch of a time. I mean, the thumb openings were fine, and when I went to attach the thumb on there, it was having a bitch of a time picking up enough stitches, so it kept getting too tight on my thumb. So after 2 tries of this, I'm literally just pulling and stretching my loops way too big around the base, so I thought, okay, I'm going to make the thumbs separately, except for the top. Anyway, just make the tube for the thumb separately and whip stitch it on. And it worked, and then I finished off the top so I could make sure the height was right. But I did, if you know what whip stitch is, it's a kostesting in Norwegian. You just sew like that. So if you look really, really close, you can actually see it in one of the pictures, though. I think the one where I have the thumbs up. This is the one where I did the whip stitch in the wrong direction. And this is the one where I did the whip stitch in the right direction. So if the whip stitch is in the right direction, you can't even see it, the splice. But when it's in the wrong direction, now here's how nitpicky I am. You can see here, this little row around the thumb. It's going to drive me nuts. So don't tell Heidi, Rune's girlfriend, because she's getting these. But hey, free mittens, can't complain, right? So, but I just wanted to say, anyway, that was the first time I tried it on mittens. I did this with the fingerless gloves. I made the fingers separate, and then I whip stitched them on. It worked for the mittens, too. So if you're having trouble picking up enough around, you can do that. Da-da-da, and it worked. And they're really warm. They're super thin and light, though, but because the yarn is so skinny and it's finished 2+2, but they're really warm. But there's no way in hell these were going to fit Rune, and I know I didn't have enough yarn to make mittens that would fit him in the same color. So Rune's girlfriend and Rune are going to be a matched set because we can't separate the two. They have to be together. So that's my little story there. Okay, we'll have to catch on, let's see, ball sack gloves. They are not ball sack gloves. Yeah, old, young. Sorry. There. You are never going to be able to look at, okay, you have to look back at Instagram when this thing was new. It was so much better, but needle binding stretches lengthwise, people. Just like men's ball sacks. I said it. I did. We're bad. We're at 60 minutes. Thank you. I'm glad you liked the mittens. Oh, and they're talking about knots again. Yep. I create knots for null binding and sure we'll pay later. Yeah, but to do that in the beginning just to get used to it anyway. Not everybody's a princess like me when it comes to knots. I know when you used Dalby and Telemark stitch, but the classical Russian 2+2. Oh yeah, I can do that next. I have to make another little bag out of this leftover yarn, so I can do that next because I haven't done it in a long time. It's a bit like doing finished 2+2, but the Russian way. So I will. Okay, I will do it. Yes, I have, but it's been a very long time since I've done that, so I think that's about time to revisit that again, especially because I have crap loads of really thin yarn, so it's a nice dense stitch, so that'll be good. The wind has begun with Null in Finland, by the way, so the snow should fall in a few hours' time. Hopefully the Saturday doesn't end on phone rescue somewhere in the middle of nowhere last Saturday. The weather is not really as nice. Oh no, nearly as nice. Tomorrow, I'm going to go on Ann Decker's Zoom tomorrow, if I remember. You remind me? 4 o'clock on our time.
No, I can put on an alarm.
Yeah, because then I'm out of your hair for about 2 hours or so. Yeah, and then she can do Russian. We can see if we can get her to show Russian 2+2. If you don't see what that is anyway, it's on the Facebook groups. Look for something called Null Binding Get Together. I think the one in Australia time is like 2 o'clock in the morning our time now, tonight.
Generally speaking, I'm not really out of my hair.
No, I'm not.
Because you're sitting right over there and yelling loudly about needle binding for 2 hours.
I look like you when you start talking about 793 being the definite line for Viking age.
Not so much.
No?
Ann Decker occasionally looks like that, but you are more the one who throws sticks on the fire when you know the temperature is good.
I would do that.
So, Ann Decker, what do you think about this woman with her invented stitches? And then you go, blah!
Well, because you can't make up stitches. Ah, there you go. Peruda's posted the Null Binding Get Together, so I will try to make it for that. But that is a really good one because it's on Zoom anyway, so she can see what you're doing as well, and then she can also focus the camera on her finger, and so you can see exactly what she's doing, which is something I can't do too well over YouTube. Anyway, 63 minutes. I gotta go feed this guy. We have chickens that are mass producing eggs right now, so it's gonna be eggs for dinner again. Yeah, sound good? Yeah. Okay, next Saturday, 6 o'clock. Sounds good. We'll see who we get. We'll see if we can't get Karl another beer.
That would be episode 99.
Ignoring me about the socks, lol. No, Albert, I have not ignoring you about the socks. I do have to finish the flip and staff brushing thing though. So.
This was 98, wasn't it?
98?
Or is it 97?
Oh, it's episode 98. Yeah, so next week's 99, and then we got to figure something for 100. I don't know what we'll do. We'll have to think of something.
I'm not going nude on YouTube, just so you know.
They don't need to see anymore. They got an imagination. Okay, bye.
It's a matter of temperature.
No, we're leaving now. Goodbye. It's a matter of temperature. I'm ending. Bye.